All right, what is up, everybody? This episode is gonna be a little different because we're gonna talk about the VeeFriends and Zerocool card boxes, or just the cards in general. Besides, VeeFriends One, VeeFriends Two, book games, and all that sort of stuff. It's been a crazy, week and a half. But we're gonna focus on these cards because I've never expected these cards to go as crazy as what I'm seeing right now on eBay. So, for example, to give you guys a refresher, ladies and gentlemen, the VeeFriends and Zerocool collaboration was just a set of 1,000 boxes that each contain a deck of cards. Each deck of cards contains 10 cards, right? And it's a high quality box, and it's a perfect play of supply and demand. And not only are there 1,000 boxes, but only 800 of them are going to the public. That means that 200 of them are going to Gary Vee and his team for collaboration, giveaways, so on and so forth, right? So it's really about a supply and demand. And it was like a Dutch auction. So you kind of put in the way to actually bid, even though the mint quote unquote was away or gone by now. Uh, I think it was done on March 11th. And you put in a bid, and the 800th highest bid um, would be into that list. So, for example, if I put in a bid for $10,000 and the 800th person put in a bid for, in this case, $2,150, and that was the highest one out of the 800, then my bid of 10,000, I wouldn't have paid that much. I'd only pay what the 800th person paid for, right? So a lot of people were left out, and that was a big chunk of change, right? But guess what? Each day there's a bigger chunk of change in the secondary market. Let's run down. Let's run down through some sales. eBay has been the primary force of this. I think there's been a few sales, maybe one or two on StockX, but I want to say 98% of them have been on eBay. So let's kind of run down through these numbers. So day zero, I'm calling it as the mint, quote unquote. It really wasn't a mint. It's kind of like you put your bid in, and if you won, you won, right? And so the lowest price everyone paid, 800 people paid for this box, which was $2,150, right? And then people sold these things immediately on eBay, but I'm setting as the mint price, quote unquote, as day zero. And people sold this immediately. There's been three sales right after they kind of realized that they got a pre-confirmed transaction that they got into the list to get these cards. So, for example, there's three items, three of these boxes sold around the range of $6,200, $6,183 to be exact, in the average sales price. One was sold for 6,253, 6,519, and 5,779. Let's go on to eBay right now and kind of show you what were these prices in the very beginning. 5,888 plus shipping. A lot of these things include shipping, or I kind of add the shipping cost to it. So that's why these prices might be a little different from what you're seeing actually. But yeah, these things were sold for so much money. 6,888. Let's see, let's go back to eBay. Yeah, 6,449, 5,750 for the first three, and then we get into March 12th. So again, March 11th was the day of the mint, right? And then each day there's been more and more sales. For example, we're going to run down the averages. So day one, a little over $6,100, almost $6,200. Then day three, there's only one sale on eBay. It was just over a little $10,000. That includes the shipping. And just keep in mind here, side note, very important side note, when I get the information on eBay, it'll tell us this was the best offer accepted. Even though the number right here can say 6,200 or $5,750, it does not mean that that's the actual price, because it won't show you what the best offer was. So, for example, in this listing, someone probably put it for, let's see, the price was probably for $5,750, but he also probably said, okay, I want this or the best offer. So the best offer could have been, somewhere around $5,200 or $5,000, and he or she accepted it. But I'm just using this price frame on eBay as like for my data, right? So it's a pretty good estimate, rough estimate. We don't know sometimes the exact number unless it's an actual auction. Some things have buy now, best offer, or auction. And in the auctions, you can kind of see what the final bidding price was and the winner of that, right? So let's kind of find one here if we can. So 19 bids. Look on this one. Sold for $5,559 on the 14th of March. There were 19 bids. The last bid was for $5,559, and that's how we know that was that price for this particular box, right? But for the most part, I'm just taking the prices of what I see on these giant green numbers. Okay, just side note right there. Okay. Then on March 15th, there were only one sale for $5,205, and this is where we see like a bit of a jump from day 5 to day 6 with 3 sales. The average sales price of $6,888, or sorry, $6,810. Excuse me. And then days 7, 9, and 10, which are still ongoing on 10, because I'm recording this podcast on the 19th of March, so still a couple hours to go before this day ends. There's been a number of sales for each of these days. So for example, on March 7th, there was what? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sales, right? Same thing with 9 and 10, about 9, 10 sales, with the average price of over $9,200 on day 7, $10,300 on day 9, and still ongoing, $14,000 on day 10. Still in progress, by the way. And the best way to depict this is by this graph right here. We see here there's an increase and then it went back down, but that's because on March 13th, there was only one sale for $10,000, right? And then you can see here from March 14th and onward, there's been a lot of growth. Now, again, this is all speculation. We don't know how far. I'm assuming that the cap for these boxes are going to be no over than the core prices on a VeeFriends 1. So the core price of a VeeFriends 1 is like 16.6 ETH Ethereum, and that's probably in the ballpark of, $35,000, I think. 35, maybe $40,000. I haven't checked. But yes, I don't expect these, even though there's only 800 of them for the public, I don't know if one of these boxes are going to be more expensive than a VeeFriends 1. That would be absolutely crazy. But the reason why I think these card boxes are going to be higher and higher is because when you look at the sales data, or just in an intuitive sense, like a gut feeling, these individual cards, I've been like literally the past 30 minutes, I've been looking at the final minutes of an auction of individual core cards, right? So let's take a look at this for example. This Love for Their Validation, number 256, it's a base trading card. And I kid you not, I went from like $950 to $1,000 to $1,200 and then down to this price. I saw this live in a matter of seconds and it went dramatically up. So you can say the market for these boxes are the following. If you can assume that a base trading card is going to be traded for around $1,500 and there's 10 of them, then you can say, the average price potentially for a box right now is around $15,000, right? Just assuming that all the cards are base ones. This one was sold for $827. This giraffe, $1,580 with 38 bids. It's just absolutely nuts. And there's some other ones that are still ongoing, which I can show you right now, ones that are a lot more rare. For example, one card literally paid off the entire bid or the entire mint of the box itself. Let's kind of dive deep into that. For example, and the crazy thing is there's still essentially 2 more days before this. This is crazy because there's essentially 2 more days before this auction ends. So for example, this card right here, like a sponge diamond, 1 of 1 by the way, so it's very rare. It's a 1 of 1. Looks pretty darn dope if you ask me. It's a diamond, so that's probably why it's very up there. The current bid is $3,200, and the price of the mint was $2,315. So that means that this one card is paying off that box and then some. And this individual has 9 more cards to sell or to hodl. That's just crazy. And who knows what other cards this person has probably some cool ones too. So $3,200, 43 bits, and there's still 2 days remaining. It's just absolutely crazy, like seeing these numbers. And just imagine if they get PSA graded, like these things could be worth a lot more money. But again, I'm just my gut feeling. I don't know too much about cards and stuff like that, but I just don't see an entire box maybe being higher than a VeeFriends 1. Of course, VeeFriends 1 can go up to like 40 Ethereum in the future, and these cards can kind of follow that. But I just don't know. And it's just absolutely crazy seeing these numbers, seeing these average sales prices go up and up and up. Something that I was curious about that I saw on Twitter was that someone had an admission token, sorry, an admission V card, and Gary Vee's like, yo, you better list on eBay. I don't know. Maybe someone can correct me, but I don't know if there's like some sort of utility behind that one card. I'm pretty sure if you go on Discord, you can definitely find it. But it is really crazy. We're not even 10 days into this trading card frenzy, and there's a lot of hype. And I think what really pushes this hype or this film was the fact that Gary Vee is having a lot of fun with it. He's posting a lot of things on Discord and Twitter about the recent sales, and I think this makes people want to buy this even more. It's a lot of FOMO. So that pretty much concludes the end of this episode. I might be doing this more often because it's so early and it's so much fun looking at what's going on in the market on eBay. And just keep in mind, if you're selling this, eBay is going to charge you a 12.5, 12.9% fee because it's a sports trading card, but in reality, it should be 5% because it's an NFT sort of collectible, right? So just make sure if you're selling this on eBay that you try to fight for the extra 7% that you earned, right? So you don't get ripped off and everything. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And I just wonder where this graph is going to take us in the next couple of days, weeks, months. Who knows? This is just absolutely crazy. And this amongst VeeFriends 1, VeeFriends 2, book games, it's really fun to be part of this community. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time.